It's time now for Better Fitness. So do you want your kids to be involved in your workout routine?
Taylor Bidmead, a manager of Fitness Together, is showing us some exercises that are perfect for the kids.
It's fun, like if you're doing a home video, they kind of join in, but you have some specific exercises that even start with the itty-bitties to just get them
Absolutely.
going.
You're talking about exercise prescriptions from the time your child is born all the way through high school.
Okay, this is really interesting. I didn't think, I didn't think about exercising when I was a kid. You just went out and played. My mother said, come back at 6 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it.
But so starting with babies, there's certain things that if you're, maybe mom's working out in the morning and you want to do some things with your baby as well.
Yeah, so the first thing that you want to do with your child when they're anywhere from freshly born all the way through the first 12 months is you want to create positive interactions with the environment. And you'll start to see that when they're getting closer to the age of 1 as they'll point and they want to go touch something. So while you're doing your workout, if you're having baby on the floor, getting used to touching things, put them over on their belly while you're doing your push-ups or while you're doing your sit-ups and having them there with you.
Okay.
Really the most important thing during this time, it's obvious, but we need to say that, is to create a positive and healthy, safe environment for the child so that they feel comfortable interacting with their environment and creating those motor skills. Then from there, after the first year up to 3 years, you kind of take that development style, and this is where the prescription comes in play. You want to have 30 minutes of structured activities with the child to do.
We're not talking about lifting barbells here. We're not.
Right. So in those very early ages, it's more important to talk about motor development and neurological function.
Okay.
So creating those cognitive exercises. So things like, it seems silly, but touch your nose, then touch my hand. Touch your ear, touch my hand.
Touch your nose, touch my hand. Mm-hmm. Touch your ear, touch my hand. Mm-hmm. How am I doing?
You're doing awesome.
All right.
They have this, I was saying that I just had to do this when I got my physical. The doctor has you do this.
Yeah,
just
so
to
they'll
make
check
sure
for
your
neurological
brain
function.
still working.
Everything's working right.
And then
But
after
building that for the kids.
that, you kind of build up to checking your motor skills such as balance and your core development, which is very important to start from a young age. So we're talking anywhere from the ages of 3 to 8. Yeah, you got it. So doing something like picking up your leg.
Even in heels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Can you hold your leg up? You got it. Perfect.
The balance is terrible, Taylor.
And then when you start to get a little bit older, so now we're talking about the ages of anywhere from 6 to 8 to 9, you want to put together 60 minutes of structured activity a day.
A day?
Yeah, for them to have.
But it could be that they're playing sports, and that's going to help too, right?
Yes, so during this time, doing sports-specific or motor skill-specific training is going to be perfect for their neurological health, which is what's developing at this stage in their life, which is different for adults.
Why can't I do? What
You got to pick a point first. Pick a point.
Hang on.
Pick a point first. Focus and then try and do it.
There you go.
See?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
Okay.
You got to spot yourself.
So what's important about doing these exercises, what you're experiencing, is you have to wake up the muscles, and that's that neurological channeling and firing. So it's a little bit harder to do at first when you're doing balance activities. You're going to wobble, you're going to fall over, but then by time 3, you're like, okay, I've got this. And then when you're doing that, you walk out into the world, and all those muscles are ready to go. They're active, they're firing, they're ready to engage.
There's a lot of research that doing this in the morning, maybe mom's working out too, but doing this in the morning with the kids, it's going to help them go to school because they've just turned on like their left brain and their right brain when they do these crossover activities. So it can help them actually do better at school, right?
Yes, and it's really important that when they're younger and they're at home, anywhere from the ages of 1.5 to about 3 or 4, that they really don't have more than 60 minutes of sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah,
that sounds
tough.
crazy. It takes a whole bunch of energy, which is a lot of what we work on now, is working with new moms and new grandmothers to make sure that they have the stamina to keep up with their child and the flexibility to get up and down off the floor, because it's so important for their development at this age to be able to work on those motor skills. And we have what we call unstructured playtime, where they get to walk around with their environment.
So no couch potatoes.
No couch potatoes.
You want to make sure that they're, I mean, everybody wants to watch the videos and play the games and stuff, but you can set aside a certain amount of time for that, but there should be structured activity in it each day.
Absolutely, so that they're really building those cognitive motor development.
And then when
Go
is
outside
it,
and play, Scott.
What do you think, like, to go into an actual gym, what age?
So once you get to what we call a pubescent or a young adult, it's important that they start to do hypertrophy training. So that's where you want to start to build the muscles, but you actually don't want to make the muscles any bigger. Because their body is still growing, it's important that the tendons and ligaments can keep up with their growing exoskeleton, their growing muscles, everything. So you don't want to put too much strain on their body.
Okay.
So really setting foot into a gym doesn't need to happen until you're working with a young adult. So things that work with hypertrophy training are things like doing 1 1/4 squats, where you're using your body weight and you're doing intervals to make it even harder for your body. So things like a jumping jack, right? You can do 30 jumping jacks, take a break, then do 30 more. You're working those muscles. You're not adding any weight, but you're bringing them to a point of exhaustion. Or a 1 1/4 squat, for example, would be if you step, you're coming into your squat, you come up 1/2 and 1/4 of the way and come back down and come back into your squat. So every time you're doing 1 rep, you're doing 1 1/2 reps to bring the muscle to exhaustion.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Interesting.
What I learned. If you'd like to learn more about personal training with Fitness Together, visit fitnesstogether.com/Rocky Hill.
The studio is located right on New Britain Avenue in Rocky Hill.